Welcome to the Making Health Doable podcast. I'm Cheryl Borchardt.
And I'm Sarah Shaw.
And together we're your hosts on this journey as you learn what it takes to live well.
We are dedicated to tackling topics that empower you to make massive progress in your health and wellness journey by using our pillars of health: eat well, move well, live well, and respond well.
At Doable Health, our mission is simple: to help everyone live well. As a team of physicians, board-certified health coaches, and law enforcement experts, we're here to serve employees and first responders with coaching, workshops, and masterclasses designed to conquer stress, anxiety, and burnout.
But our dedication doesn't stop there. We're also committed to improving wellness for individuals like you by offering at-home lab testing and personalized coaching to support your unique needs.
Because whether you're an employee, a first responder, or simply an individual seeking better health, we believe that life can feel better for everyone when health is made doable.
So join us as we embark on this journey together, where we'll provide you with the tools, insights, and encouragement you need to thrive.
And stay tuned for enlightening discussions, expert interviews, and actionable advice that will inspire you to take charge of your well-being and live your best life.
Until next time, remember, life can feel better when health is made doable.
Before we begin, we have an exciting new offering from Doable Health: at-home lab testing with our Integrative Health Practitioner, Jeanine Finelli.
I'm Jeanine Finelli, Integrative Health Practitioner, National Board Certified Health and Wellness Coach, and VP at Doable Health. We offer at-home functional lab testing for individuals to test and not guess when it comes to their health. Whether you are interested in a deep dive under the hood because you love to geek out on numbers and want to really focus on moving forward with prevention, or you have symptoms, brain fog, digestive issues, hormonal imbalances, insomnia, low or no libido, water retention, headaches, all sorts of things that you just cannot figure out where they're coming from, through our at-home functional medicine lab testing with the best of the best labs out there, we can help give you answers. Schedule your initial consult with me so you can test and not guess by going online at doable.com/test. And for a limited time, get 10% off your initial consultation by using the code PODCAST in the checkout screen. doable.com/test.
So today we're joined by Coach Jeanine Finelli. Coach Finelli is a National Board in Functional Medicine Certified Health and Wellness Coach and Certified Heart Math Practitioner. She's a graduate of the Institute of Integrative Nutrition and Integrative Health Practitioner Level 2. She's a published author and as Doable Health's VP and Director of Coaching. Jeanine supports our clients and our team of health coaches to achieve their health visions. She believes that at the core of all positive and lasting change resides a deep love and respect for self. So thank you for joining us today, Jeanine.
Thank you, Cheryl, for having me.
Yes, I am so excited to talk with you today about what we know and have seen to be a very important part of our program, which is the Live Well pillar. And as we were talking just a few minutes ago, how we feel that all of those pillars are necessary in somebody's life for them to live a well-rounded life and to support their health to the best of their ability. So I'm excited to dive into this with you today. So before we start, I want to start with a little icebreaker. What is your favorite dessert?
I don't even have to think about that very long. Ice cream. And if it's peanut butter and chocolate, that's even better.
Oh, you sound like my husband. Ooh, ice cream. I thought you would say tiramisu or something Italian.
Yeah, if I have to pick one, it's ice cream. I mean, a cannoli with ice cream on top would be ideal, but...
Now we're going to be hungry as we talk.
Yep. And I apologize, since this is such a comfortable interview, if there are little dings in the background. Hopefully they won't be too distracting, but I am not the techie person, so
That's okay. That's why we're so laid back, and that's what I love about us.
Mm.
And well, so as we dive in today to the live well pillar, I really want to spend a little bit of time to discuss how this came to be a cornerstone pillar of doable health.
How did live well come to be? That's a really good question. And here's a simple answer. If if getting well was just about diet and exercise, most people would be well. So the missing piece is the live well pillar. There's a quote I heard, and I don't know who said it. I could probably look it up, but you can decorate it however you want, but you're still going to feel what's missing. And so, live well is really the glue that holds the other pillars together. And it's about our relationships with things that maybe aren't necessarily for public consumption, right? We're not seen with the smoothie. We're not seen eating well. We're not seen running the marathon. We're not seen at the gym. So it's the relationship with stress. It's our relationship with sleep. Nobody sees us dragging our pillow to another room or tossing and turning in the middle of the night. No one sees the emotional voids or the heartbreak or the stress that we're carrying around because we can decorate it however we want.
Mhm.
We might look good, but it's how do we feel on the inside? So live well really is that place that we are anchored into, that all of our relationships stem from, all of our habits stem from. And so it is everything. We can we can work out, very important. Moving our body, very important. Eating well, crucial. And if we're not anchored into why we're doing it and feelings of worthiness and good alignment within ourselves, it's just going to end like every other diet or every other exercise program. It's going to come and it's going to go. So living well is the anchor.
And that can mean so many things to each individual. Like you were saying, so sleep would be one way, probably being outside. There are so many, how we interact with our family and our friends, and
Mhm.
again, how we deal with stress, and that internal conversation that goes on just with ourself all day long, like what we say about who we are. So I'm thinking through, those things in my own life right now as we, explore what this looks like. So tell me, how did this come to be, as far as you knew this was important, the team knew this was important? What are some things we do and explore with people, or the ways that maybe you've worked with some of your clients to help them with this pillar?
That I think the most important thing with anybody, like if we think about relationships and we think about what I like to call plug and play, it just, it makes sense to me. It's like when you, as a coach or as a friend or as a mother, if you can put yourself in someone else's situation and practice a more empathetic state
Yeah.
and hold space for somebody, it always amazes me in conversation with people personally and professionally when you mention something and all of a sudden the conversation is hijacked and it's about them and their stresses and obviously as a coach that's what it's supposed to be. And so I want to hold that space for people, and that requires empathy. So it is very important for someone to feel safe, that you're not going to judge them for their habits, that it's a safe place, because the world is like, hey, bring your best and look good doing it. But
Put facade on.
yeah, put your
Put
facade
your
on.
smiley face on.
How are you? I'm fine. How are you? And
I'm
so,
fine.
yes, there are times to move through the world in that capacity. I think I think most people, Cheryl, and you might have found this too, are really, really just take that deep sigh of relief when they realize it's not about get up at 5 o'clock and go to the gym and never have birthday cake and never have, the picnic on the beach with, whatever it is that you want, never do these things. When people realize it is about a true whole person approach, even though there's a lot of that word going around, but when people realize that it is about radical self-love, worthiness, forgiveness, and being okay in your own skin, they feel good. Like you can almost feel them unpack, like, oh, this feels so different. This is not a race. This isn't a contest. This is about, how do I want to feel? What do I want to feel more of? And what do I want to feel less of? And what do I do about it? So I think it's explaining to people that this is a different program.
Mm. Yeah. So, like, I think about, we go to the doctor, they're going to run blood work, they're going to have a clinical conversation with us. A lot of times they're not exploring what's going on in the background.
Mhm.
And with us, they have that opportunity to do that. They have somebody they can talk to. Yes, we bring in all the other things too. We do talk about the blood work and we do talk about the test results, but we also talk about how let's get down underneath it all and pull some things out, especially if they aren't able to make progress or reach some of the goals they've set for themselves. Yeah, I think we see that happen a lot. But that empathy piece, I love how you explain that, because it is. We never know what somebody's going through, not us included. As we interact with the world, we have to keep that in mind.
Yeah, exactly. And you're so great at that, Cheryl. You're amazing at that. You just always hold space for people to look at them and to know that if you think about your own life and your own family and all the ups and downs going on that people don't know about, how could we not have compassion for someone else, right?
Mhm.
And just be so quick to go into that space of right and wrong, and it's just too heavy. And so if people can just stop and take a deep breath and honor where they are in their journey, the heaviest lift, I think, is getting rid of comparanoia, getting
Mhm.
rid of you should or shouldn't be doing at this age or that age, or what you should or shouldn't have. And that's the real work. That's the stuff I'm interested in, because I'm not, like I said, eating well is fabulous, exercising is fabulous, but if you're not madly in love with yourself and can let everything else fall away and still have the integrity of who you are, that's what I'm after.
Mhm.
And that's what I've fought for, or I shouldn't say fought because I don't like that word. That's what I've created in my own life over the last 10, 15, 20 years. And so the greatest gift that someone can give themselves is to say, this is who I am. I understand my shortcomings or areas for improvement, right?
Mhm.
Without judgment. What do I want more of? And slowly take those steps with a dream team, like you said,
Mhm.
doctors who are really after our highest good as well. Doctors, coaches, trainers, people who are like, there's no reason you can't do this, right? I want you to dream big. I want you to imagine, instead of thinking about what's the worst thing that can happen, what's the best thing that can happen, and feel that energy shift in our body. So it's kind of like, when we go back to the live well pillar, I just thought of something. Eating well and exercise, no doubt, plays a role. And when you think of being in high school or college and you think about all the different subjects and all the different grades, but live well is the pillar that holds all that together. Live well would be time management for a student.
Mhm.
Live well would be good sleep hygiene for a student. Live well would be going to office hours and asking for help for a student, right?
Yeah.
Live well would be setting clear boundaries and expectations with friends, and knowing where to say yes and where to say no. So when we think of live well, we might think of eating well and exercise as the subjects, which absolutely matter.
Mhm. Yep.
Live well habits are how they are going to transform those subjects.
Yeah, it's the actual work that we're doing,
Mhm.
and it's probably the hardest work. I mean, I think it is like, to some degree, we all exercise every day. We get up and walk. We do some movement, whether it's the right amount or not. And we all eat. Yeah, maybe we make good choices or maybe we don't.
Mhm.
But I know we see this when that piece is missing.
Mhm.
They can be doing all these other right things, but things just don't fall into place.
Right. And we know, if we look at the triangle of the hormonal hierarchy, we know that we have sex hormones, we have insulin, but at the base of that triangle are the stress hormones. So we can do all the things. Managing blood sugar is critical. Yes, I'm not going to say it's not. It's very important. And that can lead to better stress management, right? So it's not that it always has to start at the bottom of the triangle, but if people just don't have a targeted approach and they're just reaching and doing and supplementing and doing all these things, like we said, you can put band-aids on it all day long. But for me and for the clients that I'm in concert with or in session with, I want to help them to have a targeted approach and to build a house of bricks, not a house of sticks that looks good, right? A house of bricks. And that is stress management. Disease is so often related to stress. And that's why it's so hard to really wrap our heads around, because it's like somebody might look good, they might have great income, they might have the job and the boat and all the stuff, and on the inside feel worthless and be stressed and need things to get them up out of bed and to help them fall asleep at night. And not that that's a bad thing at certain times in our life. I get it. I understand it wholeheartedly. But how do we move to a place where we're fueled by better things, more sustainable things than just piecing our lives together and showing up and slapping some paint and makeup on it and being like, I'm here. And so, and so as you know, from working with me, that's a huge passion of mine, is not only for myself and my clients, but raising children who value their health and wellness over what anybody else thinks they should be doing. And that goes back to sometimes in session, reminding people they are so powerful as a gang of one. Really, if you've got you and the most important like, which is that one like,
Mm-hmm.
that's where you become the magic wand. And that's where you start to actually live life for not only achievement, but fulfillment. You're not willing to sacrifice fulfillment, deep fulfillment, for just accolades and achievement. And because we see all too well, people get to a certain place, maybe they, no matter what it is. And in session, we help people with self-esteem and eating better. They want to do gluten-free or dairy-free or elimination diets. Like, we do all the diet things, and hopefully they don't leave any parts of themselves behind in the process.
Well, kind of going back to what you said a minute ago, this will lead us into kind of the next little set that I'd like to explore, which is how can one live well to improve their overall health? And you said something that stuck out to me because it reminds me of someone I've been talking with recently who has type 2 diabetes, and they are doing the diet things. It's all just right. We've looked at it. It looks good on paper. But the missing piece here was they're very stressed. So those stress hormones and how they play into the blood sugar, they're having these blood sugar spikes in the morning, and so it tells us there's something here that needs to be addressed. And diet looks right, but this what's feeding into that. So explore that with us a little bit. How can live well improve overall health?
So live well is, again, going back to that image of the college student having all these classes and grades to uphold. The live well is what's going on underneath. It's the behavior, it's the emotional regulation, it's the setting of boundaries, it's the sleep habits, it's the not finding yourself walking into an exam starving because you didn't go shopping and you have no food in the house, right? It's the prep. It is the groundwork. So
Groundwork. Yeah.
yeah, it's the groundwork of everything. It's going to affect how we show up in all those external relationships. So we know as is above, so is below, right? And so we have to really go under the hood and look. So I think with Live Well, one of the most powerful questions, and again, zero judgment, because I promise you, I've been in a lot of different seats, wearing a lot of different hats throughout my life. But a powerful question for somebody is, like you said, they're doing all the things, but they're waking up, they're stressed, and I'll say this to any listener, where are you abandoning yourself? I know that for most people, there's a really hard conversation that needs to be had. And there are ramifications and repercussions of having that conversation. It could be with a spouse, it could be with a friend, it could be with an employer, it could be with a colleague. But if the answer is, I'm just going to absorb this more and more and more and more, that is creating tremendous amount of inflammation in your kidneys. We know your kidneys are reacting to all of that stress just as if you were eating really low quality sodium in your diet constantly, right? The kidneys are reacting. So Where are those hard conversations that need to be had? Even if you don't have them anytime soon, get an idea of what you need to set yourself free from. Where are the limitations that you have been sold and told, right? This is what you do. This is what you're capable of. It just runs in the family. It's the way it is.
Mhm.
You're the smart one in the family. You're the not smart one in the family. Like, this is just the way it is, kiddo, right? Like,
Mhm.
who's been telling you this is where you live? And do you want more? And it's for no one else to say whether you want more or don't. It is for you to decide, you know what? I'm tired of showing up in this script. I'm tired of showing up as this person that everyone expects me to be. And I don't want to die twice, meaning once emotionally and once physically. I want to die once. And if you want to die once, then it's time to live fully. And it is very challenging to open your hands and see what stays and what flies away in life. But that's where the power is.
Mhm.
And you might piss some people off, you might make some new friends, but whose life are you living? So those are all things to think about. A lot of times pressure can come from our peers, it can come from, the small little societies we live in where it's like it's so cookie cutter and this is what we do and this is what we
Mhm.
say. And so encouraging people to say, where do you feel alive? And let's create your dream team. Who feels renewing to be around? That's a word that Heart Math uses frequently. Who
Mhm.
feels renewing and who feels depleting? So I
Mhm.
think when somebody like that person you referenced, and I know that type of individual too, doing all the things, but who's in their life and what's going on in those relationships. And it doesn't mean you have to throw the baby out with the bathwater, so to speak, but it just means, okay, I can only turn away from this for so long, but there's some stuff I need to address. There's some stuff I need to look at in my life. And those are so empowering. And for our coaches, I know all of our coaches really hold that space beautifully to be like, you know what? You can take the armor off here. You don't have to heavy lift. You can be the person who doesn't have all the answers and rebuild a life that feels good to you. I mean, what else is there? What else are we here for than to feel well in these bodies and move through life? How cool is it? We can all think back.
Mhm.
Maybe you can think back to a time where your heart and your feet were in two different places, or your head was worried about this. Maybe it was for yourself, your children. I mean, we all have those moments, but how cool it feels to be like snap back into alignment, right? And to be
Yeah.
like, okay, I actually am whole. My head, my heart, and my feet are in the same place and they all kind of like where they are, you know? Mm.
Just that perfect example, like, we know, I think, a lot of the times we will have an unrest within us when something needs our attention, and I think that's a good thing. It
Mm.
reminds me of symptoms,
Mm.
nobody wants to have health symptoms, but it really is our body saying, "I need your attention. I need you to look and pay attention and figure out how to support me better." So, it's that same kinda concept, I feel like, is, if you're having unrest about something or you don't feel like something is serving you well,
Right.
and to just have the conversation with yourself, to just step back and say, what needs to change? Even if it's something like very, very small that you can do right then, or it doesn't have to be like, I got to go switch jobs today. It can be maybe I'm going to polish my resume, or,
Right.
like you said, those little bitty steps and the groundwork that need to happen.
That is so true, and I'm so glad you brought that up. It's not the mountain to climb. Most of the time, it's not the mountain to climb. It's not the
Mhm.
marathon to run. It's not the radical diet to do. It is the shift that is not the community project shift, okay? What do I mean by that? It is all yours. Maybe it's getting up a little bit earlier and sitting with tea, water, coffee, whatever. Maybe it's the shift that we're looking for is just to be like, "Oh my gosh, yeah, I'm gonna make that phone call today. Why not? What's the worst they can say? No? Okay,
Yeah.
that's all right. It's not gonna level me." So, sometimes the biggest steps forward are just a thought, are just an acknowledgement, an awakening not the big thing on the outsides. And it is like that check engine light that comes on in our
Mhm.
car. And it's like, what do? We bring the car into the shop, and then that check engine light with us is a bum knee, it's a bad back, it's
Mhm.
elevated, A1C, it's digestive problems or whatever it is. So paying attention to those signals. And instead of, we live in a society, there's so much anxiety and neurosis and all sorts of things that we're just numbing away through all the vices. We know what the vices are plus some, right? So
Mhm.
we're
Oh,
numbing them
yeah.
away. But like you said, what if it's an invitation to level up and to say, I don't have to turn the other way and make this go away? And that's one thing that having a yoga practice since 2007 has taught me, is to be okay with the uncomfortableness. So when people think yoga is, just, it's everything. It is so amazing. It's the biggest workout and work in that I have ever done. And it's just an opportunity to learn how to deal with the hang time in life, the uncomfortableness, the pressure, and not crumble, but to breathe and to maintain and to figure out what the next best step is. It's all it is. What's my next best step? I don't have to plan out the next year, the next week. What is my next best step? And so it really is an invitation. The uncomfortableness could be an opportunity to expand, to grow, to integrate, to become more whole, to redo your social circle, to change your food, to sleep better, to ask for the job, to ask for the date, to put your foot down as, a partner or a parent, or to just do those things that we just don't want to do, but we know they can crack us open.
Mm. Yeah. And it's easy to not do anything. But again, it's gonna come back to you're gonna be I think most of the time people will feel that uneasiness somewhere, but the work is difficult. It
Mhm.
is hard to change. It is hard to reflect our lives to ourselves and see, "Ooh, yeah, I really do need to make some shifts here, but it's so
Mhm.
worth it. It's so worth it."
It
The
is, and
reward. Yeah.
yes, and when we begin to care more about how things feel than how they look, we'll be onto something. So that's
Sure.
a question for people to say, do I care about how it feels? How it looks, we wanna look good, we wanna look healthy, we want all those things, and I'm not diminishing that, but not at the expense of how it feels. So if we go back to, how do I feel in my body? And it is an opportunity to make a change, and it's the question, do you wanna step out of the script? Do you wanna create your own life, or do you wanna perpetuate the life that's been handed to you? And we can't change everything, we know that, and I'm not
Mhm.
speaking from a place of, "Ma wave the magic wand and life changes." No. However, we have more power than we've been led to believe, and that's what I think coaching really is about, is helping people to fall in love with themselves.
Well, as we wrap up, I wanna know, what does living well look like for you right now?
For me,
Yeah.
living well for me looks like a lot of nature, a lot of time management, a lot of keeping the five-star sessions that I like to deliver with clients. I love to have them feeling like I'm sitting on the couch with them and not
Mhm.
across from a table under bright lights, right? So I'm always interested in that feeling for them. And, my relationships, my children, and a lot of the great modalities that I know a lot of people and coaches are, you know, the sauna, the heat, the infrared, the yoga, the grounding, the touching nature, the reducing chemicals and
Mm.
pesticides. Like, I am just so passionate. Some people would say crazy about it, but you know what? I'll leave
Mhm.
everyone with this. 1 in 3 people are trending towards cancer. So if we don't
Mhm.
think we have to do these things, we're wrong. We're wrong. You can't just eat a salad and work out and think that that's going to be enough. So helping people to rid their body of toxins is so important. It's easier to prevent disease than it is to reverse it.
And I'm excited about the work you're doing with us now, providing the opportunity for some at-home lab testing with our company. So we will be hearing more about that as you and I continue to meet and dive into Live Well. We will do that in future episodes. And by the way, I'm not drinking coffee. These are my electrolytes, but I'm drinking out of my daughter got me a new beautiful mug from the Masters this year. So
That's adorable.
Light
I
morning.
I love it. I love it. And so, yeah, how about we leave people with that? Some good quality filtered water and some really good quality sea salt, whether it's Redmond's or Celtic sea salt, and some lemon could be the best thing. That's what I do in the morning. And I will say, I do have some coffee here. So
Aw.
I do the electrolytes and
Coffee's
then,
fine too. Yeah, coffee's
yes,
fine.
yes,
The right kind.
that is organic coffee. So absolutely. Cheryl, you're just a joy and a gift to our team and to everybody that you are in session with. So thank you.
Well, I appreciate your kind words. I've learned a lot from you. And just even from our very first conversation that we had on the phone, I was like, I just love her. She's so energetic and I just enjoy. You always give me a feeling of energy, of like just joy when I'm around you. So
Aw.
thank you for that. And thank you for your support to our team
Always,
and our clients.
always.
Thanks. As we wrap up another insightful episode of Making Health Doable, we want to express our gratitude to you for joining us on this journey toward better health and wellness.
At Doable Health, we're not just a podcast. We're a dedicated team of physicians, board-certified health coaches, and law enforcement experts.
And together, we're on a mission to serve employees and first responders, providing coaching workshops and masterclasses tailored to conquer the challenges of stress, anxiety, and burnout.
But our commitment doesn't stop there. We're also passionate about improving wellness for individuals like you, offering at-home lab testing and personalized coaching to support your unique needs.
Because at the end of the day, whether you're an employee, a first responder, or simply an individual striving for better health, we're all human. And we firmly believe that life can feel better for everyone when health is made doable.
So as you go about your day, remember that you're not alone on your journey toward wellness. We're here to support you, encourage you, and provide you with the tools you need to thrive.
So stay tuned for more inspiring conversations, expert insights, and actionable advice in our future episodes. Be sure to like and subscribe on your podcast platform.
And don't forget to visit our website at dooable.com, DOOABLE.com, for additional resources and updates. Until next time, remember that health is within reach.
And together we can make it doable.